Okay, let's get into it. Oh God. Ooh, that's still hot, but it's delicious. Oh, that's delicious. This is my shirt. It's Ice Cube. Is he problematic? I hope not. Okay, let's get into it though. So I want to first start this video off by saying, excuse the window. I got the window open because it's kind of, you know, in Chicago, you gotta have a window open. So I hope you are here because I hope you are here. What does that mean? Thank you for coming to this video. I hope you subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that. It is linked down below. And it might even be on the screen. But the reason that we're making this video right here, right now, today, is because I just turned 21. And I did not vlog that birthday. Now, I didn't vlog that birthday because my plans were really last minute. And now you're probably like, Isaiah, last minute plans, yada, 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 woo, woo, woo. Yeah, my plans were really last minute. And I feel really bad about that because I wanted to vlog it and, like, you know, it's my 21st, do something big. The week of me turning 21, I got some news and I was like, oh, fuck. And I like just felt down the entire week, so I didn't even want to plan my birthday party, and it was just very lackluster. I had a small party with a few friends and I went out for drinks. And in that journey, I got very drunk. And I threw up in my best friend's car on the way home. And in this time, I was like, what am I gonna do on my YouTube channel for my 21st birthday? The room was spinning. I got upstairs, I laid down. I couldn't fall asleep. So then I was like, what am I gonna do? So I decided, I was like, what if I did a message from 21-year-old me to 18-year-old me? Because I'm finna graduate college. And like 18-year-old me was somebody, I think I was, what was that? 18-year-old me was in second semester of freshman year of college. So it's like, you know, what would be the advice I give to myself now? And that is a really good question. So I've been like contemplating and pontificating. Like, what would be the advice I give to myself? What would I tell myself now that I didn't know then? And I don't think there's much. I think the evolution of me is something that has been a natural evolution, a thing that has evolved. You know, my sexuality, my spirituality, my personality, all these things have evolved in such a way that it's been congruent with that of a young adult. But then it also made me think, if that's the case, then while I might not be someone that harbors regrets, but it's like, what are the things that I would tell myself to help aid me in that journey, in that process of just life and the evolution of a person and of yourself? And I'm like, because, okay, the Isaiah from like middle school to end of high school had mentors and had people all around me to like guide me through life and give me the advice and the tools that I needed to take on this life. But going into college, I didn't have those same resources, so I had to make those connections in the real world myself. So how can we extrapolate the points of friction and provide them for someone? Okay, my leg. Okay, that's not gonna work either, but anyway. Anyway, so it's like, I want to make a video talking about that. And I'm like, okay, it's like, I'm 21. I'm not going to give perfect advice, but it's like, whenever you are dealing with someone who's 18, it's like everyone that wants to give that one person advice is so old. And I don't mean so old in the sense of like they're about to die, but like, you're 10 years removed from this point in my life. How are you going to explain to me how I should live? And that's 10 years is generous. Most people that are adults trying to give you advice are 15, 20, 30, 50 years removed from that period in their life. So it's like, some of the advice and some of the points can be taken, but it's like, we live in a different era and a different age with different resources and different things that are happening. And while some things are still the same, a lot of things are different and evolving. So what can I do? What can I provide to someone to help them in that journey? Now, first, I want to go off in the sense of, I started college when I was 17. Yeah, I graduated high school a bit early. So I started college at 17. And I love that decision. To me, that was one of the best decisions leaving high school early that I could have ever made. So if you're 18 and you're still in high school, I would say whatever is the best, easiest, and most fast way out of high school is the path to take. Like, high school is but an experience. Don't get caught up in the occasion of it all. Move past it. And the quicker and the faster and the more expeditious you are in that transition, the easier the spirit of your life can be. So move past it. Once you move past it, accept that, like, that era is dead and gone. Like, you're done with it. You're done. You're never going to be in high school again, and that is okay, unless you want to be a teacher. But you're done with high school. That era of your life is over. Be done with it. And once you accept that, you can finally move into the next stage of preparation. And this preparation is for a new life. Like, you're going into the next stage of your life without your parents, without your peers from your hometown. So if you're moving, you're going through a new period of your life. You need to prepare for these adjustments. You need to make sure that you're mentally able to sustain the change and the move in the environments, if that makes any sense. So, like, once you've accepted, now you're preparing. And the preparation stage is easy as fuck. I mean, like, you're signing things, you're figuring out your budget, how much money you like to save, how much money you need to make, where you want to work, what you want to do, if you want to go to college, do you not want to go to college? All those decisions are okay. But you also should be aware that in this period, you're going to see a lot of things happening, right? Like, people are having kids, people are starting businesses, people are going to college. So you need to make a decision, right? Am I on my own time? Or am I pacing with everyone else? That's a decision that everyone places a lot of weight into, and they think that you should or should not pick one thing or another. I think both decisions are acceptable. Like, if you want to go straight into building a family or straight into college or straight into your career, I think that's okay. If you want to go straight into working and figure out what you like and what your hobbies and what are you passionate about, that is okay. But you have to make that decision, right? Like, you have to be like, this is what I want to do. I'm either going full-fledged into something, or I'm taking the time to figure out what I need to go into. But at some point, like, over the next 5 years, you're gonna have to make that decision of, like, boom, I am going to do this. Boom, I am going to do that. Or boom, I am going to fill out the waters. I'm gonna work and I'm gonna sustain myself and grow, but I'm also gonna figure out what I like and what I don't want and what I do want and things like that. And that is critical. Because if you don't make that decision, it leaves you in stagnation. And that's another thing. All of these decisions, everyone's like, once you turn 18, you have all these decisions, you have to do all these things. It sucks, yes. But you need to make these decisions, or you remain in a place where you're just constantly doing the same thing you did your last year of high school, where you're just working and working and working and working, and you're doing this for the next 60 years of your life. And you're like, what happened? You never made that decision. You never decided what you wanted. And when you don't decide, you have to do something. I mean, like, it's not like you can't just do anything. So it's like, even if you're not doing anything, you have to consciously make that decision. And even through that nothing, be working towards something, which kind of sucks. It's like, adulthood is a lose-lose situation. But it's like that. And then once you get past all that, you can start accepting things for what they are and living your life. So, like, you're an adult now. You have a newfound freedom. You set up the boundaries, the guidelines, the rules for your life, the rules of engagement for your life. And now you get to step into this new world that you created for yourself. So step into it. Now, I will say for me, this period was crazy. So when I first turned 18, I was single for like 6 months. Like, over that summer period, I was single. And then at the end of the first semester of college, I started talking to somebody. Now, this is something that at the end of the day, I look back at this and I'm like, this was the wrong decision. I was like fresh in school. My grades, I couldn't even keep my grades up. Like, I did not need to be in a relationship. But I set out those guidelines and those rules for my life. And one of the rules of engagement was like, I want to be in a relationship with somebody I like. So I did that. Now, I didn't realize that when you get into a relationship with somebody that you like, you need to not only be comfortable with yourself, but you need to be comfortable with the idea of dating somebody. And I realized that I just want to be a millionaire. I don't want to date anybody. I want to be rich. I want to be rich. I want to be rich. But at the time, I wasn't out to my parents. And this person that I was dating was a boy. I mean, his name, I'm not going to say. I was about to say it. But his name, like, is something I remember. And at the end of the day, we dated for a really long time. Like, I'm going to get into that story altogether. But I got into my first relationship, and I could tell nobody in my family. And I was crazy because I wasn't out yet. And then that comes to our next point. So this is the end of the first semester of my sophomore year. I'm still 18. Now, in the middle of the second semester of my sophomore year, I turned 19. These years are so bad. Okay, my college years are heinous. This is why I'm giving myself this advice. Let me be honest. My college years were horrible. But what had happened was, at 19, my mom is on the phone with my stepdad. And on my phone, I got a dating app. And this dating app is for men who are interested in other men. How do I say? And and basically she found out. And we like had a discussion. She was like upset, but it was more like a religious upset. She wasn't like she didn't disown me or anything. It was more like, you need to talk about God, talk to God about that. I understand it. At the end of the day, when you talk to God about something like that, what God is going to say is, I love all of my disciples. And what he's going to even point out is that in the Bible, when you read certain books in the Bible about sexuality, if you go back and translate it in like the original Bible terms, they weren't even talking about sexuality. They were talking about having sex with like kids and having sex with minors and shit like that. But people go back and they hear man and man, and they hear man and woman, and they hear lay with a man and a woman, and they think literally. When in all reality, those were just the terms that were used in writings and translations. Those aren't actually, I don't think they're as literal as we make them. But anyways, that's beside the point. So I had this discussion with myself. I was comfortable with myself. I've been comfortable with myself. I just didn't know how to tell my family. Everybody in my entire life knew that I was bi. Well, gay-ish. But everybody knew. So it's like, my family didn't know. And that was it. So it wasn't a comfortability thing. It was just me being comfortable with telling them. So she finds out. I am still talking to this boy, but I'm on this dating app because like me and this boy, we not on good terms. Like we on and off, we wishy-washy. So I'm going through this relationship. It's real wishy-washy. It's affecting my grades. It's affecting my life. It's affecting my attitude. And I'm like, okay, this is the one piece of advice I would give myself. If you feel like a relationship is controlling your life and you're in between the ages of 18 and 25, I think you should exit it. Right? If you feel like my life is being controlled by this relationship, I can't move in any direction, and I feel strangled, suffocated, and sickly, leave it. You're young. You are young. We are young. Even now, I'm like, I would not date somebody like that I don't feel fully comfortable with. But at the time, I wanted to be in a relationship so bad. So don't get in a relationship just to get in a relationship. Like, learn people and understand what you're doing. So that gets us to our next point. If you are queer, I would suggest, if you are in a safe environment, like I know there's a lot of people who are in unsafe environments. If you are in a safe environment and you're able to come out, I would just say just do it. Like if you're like, oh yeah, my parents, they wouldn't care. They might be like, oh, really? But they wouldn't care. I would say just come out. Because I think at the end of the day, coming out is not as strenuous as we make it. So I'll just say tell somebody, like tell your cousin so you don't have to hold it in. And once you tell your cousin, you'll be okay. Because then your cousin will be like, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck. And then you're gonna be like, okay. And then eventually you come out because you and your cousin are like them bitches. So if you don't tell everybody, just tell your cousin. That one cousin, and you know who I'm talking about. That one cousin that you need to tell, go ahead and tell them. They don't give a fuck. Now, if you talking about your mama and your mama gonna put you out, don't tell your mama. Look, let her be in the dark. Let her stay over there in her own little world and be in the dark while she paying your bills. I get that. But if it's like, you know, I feel like you should have at least 1, 2, 3 people that you confide in and that you confess in how you are experiencing things, so you can have those conversations about your relationships and your interpersonal relationships and those experiences you're having in the community. Because a lot of times not having that connection to people you can talk to is just it's not okay. So that would be my advice. And if you are talking to somebody, tell your family. If you're close to your family, if you're not close to your family, it don't matter. But if you're close to your family, tell your family. So back to the boy. I dated him so we started talking end of, what, I'm trying to think. 2018. End of 2019. So if we started talking the end of 2019, we just cut it off. We just cut it off. So like, we cut it off officially at the end of 2020, and then we did some wishy-washy things in 2021, but we're cut off officially. So I dated this boy for 2 years, and it was very toxic, and I didn't tell nobody. So now I'm like, my message to you is don't date no toxic person. Now we're moving on to my further pieces of advice. If you're in school and you feel like you are spending too much money for something you don't want to do, drop out. I let my mama tell me, my mama was like, you should like just feel it out, stay in school, catch the vibe. I did, I catch the vibe. And now I'm like graduating and I'm like, I had a good experience. I experienced college and what that's like. But now I'm $40,000 in debt and I'm like, damn, is that what that was for? Damn. Damn.
Time, like I said, and me, you know, I'm 56 years old.
Damn.
What Kevin Hart say? Damn. But I will say the experience was worth it, right? Like the experience of going to college was worth it. And the experience of what I learned and the connections that I made was worth it. So now I'm gonna say, plan. A lot of people don't like hearing this. They're like, plan. You're in college still. What do you want your company to look like? What do you want your brand to look like? What do you want you to look like? If you want to open a brand, if you want to work for something, what do you want your life to look like? Because you should start building that. Not building that now, but building that right after college. But if you're going to start building that right after college, you need to lay the foundations right before you graduate. So you need to be like, okay, so if I want to start a business, I need to figure out what it takes to start an LLC, what it takes to market a business and maintain a business and sustain a business. But if you want to go into a career like teaching, you need to see what is it like to be a teacher in an urban city, because I'm in Chicago. What is it like to be a teacher in an urban atmosphere with urban students and things like that? Like, you need to be like, okay, being a teacher, like, you know, you need to do your thing. So, I say all this to say is, my points of advice would be, if you're in a relationship, tell somebody so you can discuss those things about the relationship with somebody that's not the person in the relationship. 2, if you need to tell secrets, tell them. Because, I don't know, they just eat you alive from the inside. And then 3, do something you love and plan out for that and set the foundations while you're young. So if you have time where you're living with your parents, the foundations of you just working, that would be you saving money so you can go live on your own. Like, it's simple. Simple things like that. Don't make things overly complicated. Don't be stressed out. Don't be upset. I really leaned into stoicism since the pandemic started, and it's like, can't nothing touch me, and the things that can touch me, I don't care. It's gonna flow in and out without the stressors of my muscles and my bodies of reactions and excitement and passion, because not everything requires passion. Some things just needs to flow. Some things need to go in and out. Some things need to be put away and readdressed. Some things need to be addressed right then and there. You need to pick your battles, decide what battles you want to fight, what battles you don't want to fight, and all that. And then after that, you mastered it. You grown now. You grown now. You in it. You in that world. You saving money. What? Now, I ain't saving no money. I ain't gonna lie. That's the hardest thing. I'm 21. I got like $5 right now. Right now, at this moment, I got $5. So if you want to cash at me, that is below. You can cash at me. You can go on Twitter. It's also on Twitter. But that's all I'm saying. Everybody's like, what's your advice? I don't know what my advice is, but I want to do this every couple of years where I get on and I talk about the experiences that I've had. Because I also, you know, there are things that you just want to confide in someone about. You have to acknowledge the things that you went through to grow past them. And that's what I had to do. That's what you have to do. That's what we have to do. The growth stage is what keeps us moving and keep the momentum from the mundane attached. So take that, carry that with you, carry that light, that joy, that experience, and that exuberance. And allow the stoicism to filter out all those other negative experiences so you can just extrapolate and extract the good points, the good, and accept the good for what it is and move forward on a common basis that that good provides, that goodness provides to you. That's my takeaway from life at 18. And that's the message that I could give to myself, the warning, the story that I would provide for myself, the experience that I would hand off to myself from now at 18. So, look, with that being said, that was today's video. I don't know, I like doing smaller videos where I talk about, I'm gonna do a video where I'm reviewing a Tyler Perry thing, and I'm excited for that, but I wanted to do a video where I hopped on and I really got vulnerable and different. And I'm like, I know my family watches this, so I'm kind of nervous that they're gonna be like, Isaiah, why didn't you tell us you were dating someone? And I'm gonna be like, because y'all are homophobic. And then they're like, we're not homophobic. And I'm like, okay, but like, I perceived y'all as homophobic. So, I mean, you cannot be homophobic, but I perceived you as per se homophobic. So, with that being said, I apologize. I love you, family. I realize you love me. But, oh, I found it. So I found the little poem I wrote. It's not towards my mom, but I wrote the poem for me. But the poem is, Mom. My mom didn't know I was in love. So it was, I dated this boy for almost 2 years. I fell mad in love with him and lost myself in him. And when you don't know how your family would react, the secrets would soon bloom. And the comfort and solace I took in him would shrink. How do you love someone for the first time? With all your heart and hide him. To break generational curses, you must forgive. But I resent the idea that I had to suppress myself to comfort you. So I forgive me, not you. I forgive me for staying back and distancing myself. I sit and think, if I had been comfortable with myself, would I have been willing to hold on to someone that was hurt by the hurt that I had for myself based on the trauma received from you? I was in love with a boy, Mom, and his name was, and you probably would have loved him. He was sweet, smart, sexy, and empowered my creativity and passion for life in a time where I assumed life wasn't worth the fight. Now, this is my favorite poem today. I'll put it on the screen.